For a viewing pleasure today, I have the cheapest Jaguar XK in the United States, especially with a clean title, and it does run and drive, but not well. And it comes with an extra special feature, and that is the previous owner's phone, which I'm going to go drive back to Bremerton, Washington, where I just picked this thing up and give it back to him because he does not have a car, because I just purchased his only car. So even though this does have a clean title, it has a considerable amount of issues, starting with the spare tires on, and that is because the tires are all extremely old and extremely destroyed. This is the left front there. It's really nice. Speaking of the left front, the brakes are metal to metal, which is just a lovely sound. Speaking of lovely sounds, there is a constant beeping every time you drive the car, which is extremely annoying. And that brings me to the interior, or what is left of the interior. The seats are not bolted down. Okay, that broke. The seats are not bolted down or connected in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, the passenger side is no different. There's a considerable concoction of smells happening from the inside, which are not pleasant. There are many broken pieces, many pieces that look like they have been through a tornado. And on the passenger side, this is my favorite. I wonder what that could have been. And the next favorite feature is considerable amounts of mold. Love that. And around to the back, there are some more issues, of course. Both the taillights, not very taillighty. Same story with the other side. This looks like it's been rattle canned. This is broken off. The button is very loose. It also comes with lots of water in the trunk, although it is not here. I test drove this a few days ago and there was standing water in the trunk. It's missing all of the covers back here, of course. I know we can get a better look at the paint job on this trim panel here. Really nice. Lovely. Moving back to the front past the incredible tint job. Missing that. Oh. Let's check out these floor mats. Lovely. Steering wheel seems okay, although I haven't dared to check under this cover because I don't want to know. It does have 112,000 miles, but by the looks of it, you'd think it has 1,000,000 miles on it. Let's check the engine. It does actually sound pretty smooth when it's running. And of course, these hood struts are completely blown. There's the engine. It looks like an engine. Okay, saw that. The smart key, of course, does not really communicate, so you have to stick it into the center console to get it to start, which is always fun. So it does sound pretty good, and now you'll see all of the air lights. Seatbelt, of course, airbag, of course, TPMS, of course, and check engine light also. And it's telling me that the trunk is open to check the tire pressure, brake lamp failure, good. And of course, to top it off, why not a CAT system fault? Gotta love it. With it running, the engine actually sounds very smooth. It does sound like it might have a little bit of a vacuum leak, but I'll deal with that later. I'm just now noticing more features. I think someone tried to tint the interior light, which is not a good idea. The screen seems to be working okay. I need to turn the heat down because it is boiling in here, but I don't really know how to do that. Climate. Less. Where's less? Be less. How? Go down. Oh, there's buttons. Go. That's fan. What? Make less warm. No, that's fan. Oh, there we go. Nice. There's a what used to be a button here, which I believe is for the traction control. There's a nicely, slightly falling down glove box. Lovely. And we get easy access to all the fuses right there, which is exactly what you want. And I noticed something the other day about the functionality of the wipers. If you tap it, just the lightest tap, it just goes off and you can't stop it. Like, you have to just mess with it. Okay, it stopped. And so these seat controls over there, they do nothing. Now is as good of a time as any to see if any of the headlights work. 1 out of 2, that's pretty good. And 2 out of 2 broken taillights, lovely. The exhaust is way too quiet, that's gonna have to change. But now I think it's time we take it out for a drive. I've got about a couple hours to get home, and in that time I will tell you the story of how this came to be and why it took 3 trips out here to get it. And there starts the beeping. Oh, the brakes. Oh, they sound so bad. That's painful. All right, we're gonna pop it in sport. We got manual mode. Just the toggle paddle, whatever you call them. Oh, it shifts by itself. Do I gotta do it? Oh, I gotta do it. There we go. Second gear. Yeah, that's pretty good get up. So roll the windows up. Oh, that sounds nice. So that beeping is So annoying. But if you can hear me over that, let me tell you the story of how this purchase came to be. So, ooh, we got a Corvette coming up on us. Look at that. I would trade my car for yours. Anyways, I have been looking for these for quite a while actually, but this one was not planned. I saw this on Facebook Marketplace, and the next morning I was gonna go look at it. Now, at first I thought this was too good of a deal to be true because it's less than half the price of any other Jaguar XK on the market in the United States. So I get there, and it's in a pretty sketchy neighborhood, but the guy's very nice. He just jump-started it, so I plug in my handy dandy little OBD2 scanner, and I got 98 check engine codes back. 98, which is not a new record for me. My most is 156. But it's still a substantial amount. But I cleared them and only a few came back. But anyways, we start driving and it won't shift. It's stuck in what I believe second or third gear. So we just got the one gear, which is not promising. So the owner suggests, why don't you pull off on an off ramp and turn it off and turn it back on again? Maybe it'll fix it, which, I mean, I can't argue his logic there. So we pull off, turn it off, turn it back on again, and I start accelerating up to about 5 miles an hour and the car dies, completely dead. And it had been flashing low fuel at me for quite a while, so he's like, let's get some fuel in it. So I said, okay, do you have a gas can back at your house? My buddy Colton is at your house. Can you bring that to us? He said, no, I don't have a gas can. I call Colton, so he comes to get us, pours a gallon of gas into the tank. We drive up the off-ramp, and then it sputters and dies. So we're coasting to the gas station, flashers on, maybe going 5 miles an hour, and we coast through a green light, and we get to the gas station. It's within that car to me. It's right there, and it just slowly runs out of momentum. Colton and the other guy get out, and we push it to a pump. I put a few gallons in it, fires right up, and then it runs perfectly. And after that, it shifted just fine. Everything seems to be working, except for the beeping, except for all of that. So we make a deal, then I come back the next day during a weekday. We meet at the DOL. We get to the DOL, and he asked the lady to transfer this car into my name. The car is not in his name. So this is the point where I learned that he purchased the car 5 years ago and never registered it and lost the title. So the car that is not in his name, that he does not have the title for, he's trying to transfer, which of course you won't do that, but he does say that, oh yeah, I've had it impounded a couple of times and they gave it back to me because my name is on the report of sale that the guy he bought it from filed, so I leave. I don't hear anything from him for a couple of days, and then yesterday he says, oh, I got the guy to meet me at the DOL tomorrow, does 1 p.m. work, can you come out there? I say sure, and everything goes smoothly. The previous owner was very nice, very pleasant. He transfers the title into my name, so now I have this free and clear title in my name. Well, it's going to come in 6 weeks, but it is legally mine, which is good. That's about where the good stops. That was a whole ordeal to get it, but now I actually have the car and it is rough. You may notice that I took off that fuzzy steering wheel cover because that was disgusting, but now I can actually see the speedometer. Anyways, it feels pretty wandery because there's a spare on the right front and the left front tire is falling apart. So all that's left to do now is to continue driving home. Hopefully no problems arise that haven't already arisen. Fingers crossed. The Jag and its one working headlight have finally made it home. It actually drove pretty well, no new mechanical issues to report, still a lot of existing ones, and that beep never went away. I've never actually revved this thing. Let's see what this V8 does. It's very quiet. But I think this should be quite the promising project. It's gonna need a lot of love, a lot of new plastics, a lot of expensive little bits, but I am up to the challenge, at least right now I am. We'll see if that changes. So with that, I'm gonna leave it off until next time when I'll pull it inside and actually start pulling this thing apart. I'm sure that I'm gonna find a lot more things wrong with it than I know about right now, but that is a problem for another day. Thanks for watching.